But writing isn't the only way to accelerate the process. Massive regions in the brain, located in the temporal lobe of the cerebral cortex, are dedicated to processing auditory input. It takes considerable synaptic activity to process the spoken language into thought in the brain. Studies have shown that processing spoken language can take up to 37% of the brain's processing power, which means that listening to spoken input is a powerful way to load programming onto the hard drive. To take advantage of this, I have my clients record their own thoughts on audio tape. These days, that is super easy to accomplish. Every cell phone, even the dumb phones, have this feature. Simply read your new thoughts out loud into the voice memo feature on your phone. If you still happen to have a dumb phone, this feature is probably located in the Sounds menu. The audio version is a powerful way to amplify this input. It's also a convenient way to make use of the dead spaces in our day, long commutes, waiting in line at the mall, etc. I carry my earbuds with me all the time, so I can easily load new programming anytime I have a few minutes to kill. I recommend keeping these audio tapes short, no more than 1 to 2 minutes maximum. When listening, you want to be intently focused on the information you're hearing, and focus tends to drift if the tapes are longer than a couple of minutes. This is really just the ancient practice of meditation, transformed into the digital information age. Meditation is simply the art of clearing the mind of unwanted thoughts and focusing on preferred thoughts. If you've ever tried meditating, then you know it's hard to keep the mind from drifting. Meditation is traditionally done in a quiet, isolated spot to minimize input from the environment. With earbuds in, listening only to the sound of your own voice, it is significantly easier to stay focused on the desired thoughts. In my personal experience, and I've experimented a lot with this, 1 minute of focused listening to my own voice, speaking my own desired thoughts, is equal to at least 10 minutes of meditation, probably much, much more. I know I could prove that if I had access to a functional MRI instrument. But, I don't have 3 million lying around, and yes, I just looked it up, to purchase one, or even the 5,000 that I would need to pay for a couple of scans. But I really don't need all of that to prove anything. Simply try it for yourself, and you will know. But it gets even better. Audio tape, as good as it is, can't hold a candle to videotape. Obviously, videotape includes both the audio and the visual input. By doing the same thing with a videotape, we're pulling in the real powerhouse of the human brain, the occipital lobe. The machinery in the occipital lobe is by far the most complex of all the sensory systems. The brain must process an immense amount of visual information as fast as it can. To accomplish this task, the occipital lobe is loaded with horsepower. Neurons devoted to visual processing number in the hundreds of millions and take up about 30% of the cortex, as compared to 8% for touch and 3% for hearing. Each of the optic nerves consists of 1 million fibers, compared to a mere 30,000 in each auditory nerve. When one watches a 1-minute tape of desired thinking, the download differential into the system is 100 times greater than simply thinking those same thoughts. Again, I don't have a functional MRI scan to prove this, but again, I don't have to have one. All I have to do is to defer to the world of TV advertising to prove it. Last year, Budweiser spent $4.5 million for a 30-second spot during the Super Bowl. Why? Because they know how much power video has to program the human hard drive. And most of us have all of that power in the palm of our hands in the form of a smartphone. If you don't own a smartphone, no worries. You can buy a decent handheld video recorder for less than $50. iPods and iPads work great as well. Cognitive Audio Visual Technique, CAVT, is the name that I give to this method of using audio and videotaping to increase the speed at which one can download new thinking onto the cerebral cortex, the human hard drive. It is similar to the difference between the old dial-up or 1X technology and the new 3G and 4G technology in wireless networks. 3G and 4G stand for third and fourth generation mobile data protocol. These new technologies have made it possible to download huge chunks of information to our cell phones from the internet and stream audio and video seamlessly from thousands of miles away. Likewise, CAVT exponentially increases the transfer of data onto the human hard drive by creating maximum synaptic activity with each passing stroke. The amount of synaptic data that can take hours to write onto the human hard drive with meditation alone or mindfulness can be accomplished in minutes using CAVT. CAVT is literally the 4G version of changing thought.